You hear the term API thrown around all the time, but what in the world does it actually mean? Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most important but totally invisible pieces of tech that powers pretty much everything you do online. So let's kick things off with a kind of weird question. What could a busy restaurant possibly have in common with that phone you're holding? I know, it sounds a little strange, but the answer is the absolute key to understanding how the modern internet actually works. Just stick with me here, it's all going to make perfect sense. Okay, so picture this. You're at a restaurant. It's a process we all know, right? You check out the menu, figure out what you want, and you tell the waiter. The waiter then zips off and takes your exact request to the kitchen. Then the kitchen works its magic, cooks up your meal, and what happens next? The waiter brings that finished dish right back to your table. Simple. But here's the really, really important part. You, the customer, never go into the kitchen. You don't have to know the recipes, you don't care where the pans are. You have an intermediary, the waiter, who handles all of that complex stuff for you. And that brings us to the big reveal. If the whole restaurant thing is our analogy, then what's the digital version of that super helpful waiter? The one who takes your request and brings back exactly what you asked for? Well, that is an API, an application programming interface. Yeah, it's a technical name, but the idea is just like our waiter. An API is basically a set of rules that lets one piece of software talk to another. It's the digital messenger carrying requests and delivering responses between all sorts of different apps. And trust me, you use them constantly, probably without ever realizing it. When you open your weather app, it's using an API to ask a big weather service for the latest forecast. When you click Pay with PayPal or your credit card, that's an API securely sending your payment request. And that super handy Sign in with Google button? Yep, that's an API, letting a website securely ask Google, hey, is this person legit? All without ever sharing your actual password. Now, just like a restaurant might have different staff for different jobs, waiters, hosts, bartenders, not all APIs are built the same. They come in a few different flavors, each designed for a specific kind of job. So we've got a few main types. Web APIs, especially ones called REST APIs, are kind of the workhorses of the internet. They're everywhere. Then you have internal APIs, which are used for systems to talk to each other just inside one company, kind of like a private kitchen intercom. And then there are third-party APIs. That's when an app uses an outside service to get something done. Think about how Uber uses Google Maps for directions or an online store uses Stripe for payments. Okay, so we know what they are, and we know there are different kinds. But why should you care? What's the real big picture impact of these digital messengers? Here it is, plain and simple. APIs are the absolute backbone of our modern connected world. Seriously, without them, all of your apps would just be isolated islands, totally unable to talk to each other, share data, or give us those amazing integrated experiences we totally take for granted now. This power to connect things has unleashed this incredible explosion of creativity. It's what lets your fitness tracker sync up with your calendar. It's how businesses can securely share information to build brand new services. It's totally changed how software gets made. Instead of building everything from the ground up, developers can just use APIs to plug in world-class services for things like maps, payments, or messaging. They're the pipes that let everything work together. So if you remember just one thing from all this, let it be this right here. At its heart, an API is just a messenger. It lets two different software programs talk to each other in a clear, structured, and secure way. It really is the digital waiter, taking orders and delivering results. The funny thing is, once you get this concept, you start seeing the work of APIs absolutely everywhere, from your smart home devices to the dashboard in your car, which really just leaves us with one final thought. In a world that's getting more and more connected every single second,